is happening right now?
This is a classic OG Catfish episode with both Neve and Max, and I think we've all now come to the understanding, the agreement, that the older Catfish episodes just hit different. This is not to say that the new episodes and the new seasons aren't good, but there's just something so about the earlier seasons. And this episode is no different. It is season 2, episode 10, Ashley and Mike. At the very beginning of this episode, we find out that Max is a crystal girly.
It's a charged crystal to ward off kind of bad energy.
And I just knew there was a reason we liked him, because I too am a crystal girly, and I'm assuming a lot of you are also crystal girlies, but if not, get you some crystals. Ashley reached out to the show on her own behalf. She is 21 and she lives in Georgia. About 7 years ago in a chat room, she says that she met Mike, who is the absolute love of her life, and within a week, they exchanged numbers and have allegedly been together ever since. I don't know how you have quite a serious relationship at 13 years old, but she figured it out somehow. She very quickly admits that she is kind of, sort of, the one who has been catfishing Mike this whole time, because she always sends him heavily photoshopped pictures of herself, and then she just casually says that it's something she's always done.
Wait.
Girl, what? You're so young and you've been heavily photoshopping your pictures for as long as you can remember. I feel like that's a horrible sign. I was never one of these girls, thank God, but I definitely can understand how you would become one of those girls. She then says that Mike has tried to meet up on multiple occasions, but she is always the one to make up an excuse because she's ashamed of how she really looks. She said she wants their help to come clean and finally meet Mike. So we've already figured out that she is really the catfish, which is crazy. Neve and Max are super on board with helping her, which is kind of weird because she's the catfish, but they hop onto Uvu to chat, and y'all do not get to eat me up in the comments this time, because now I know what the fucking Uvu is. She then says that she met Mike when she was 13. Again, I don't know how you had this serious relationship ever since you were 13 with someone you never met, but okay. Then she admits that she has been photoshopping her pictures for as long as she can remember because she is plus size, which to me is a shame. Like, I really don't think anyone should be that ashamed of their appearance, especially at such a young age, to where you don't even feel comfortable sending people real pictures of you. You have to heavily, heavily alter them. Ashley then starts crying, and she says that she never thought that she would fall in love, and again, this is just a real indication of her poor self-worth and her poor self-concept, because the ugliest because even the ugliest of people find love. Love is out there for everybody. Not to say that she's ugly, I just mean, like, what you look like doesn't really matter that much to a lot of people. Ashley then says that she has absolutely no concern that Mike is who he says he is, and Neve immediately checks her and is like,
But has he proved it in any way?
She then rambles, but we find out he hasn't proven anything.
Oh, Lord.
So they hop off the call, and Neve and Max say that they really like her, and then they head to Georgia to meet Ashley, but it's very likely that this is a double catfish situation going on here. So they pull up on Ashley and they get right into it. Ashley says that she has been the one to resist video chatting.
You can't Photoshop video chat.
Right.
Again, just very sad. She says that she got into the chat rooms initially because she was a hermit and she felt very insecure due to societal pressures that are being placed on women. But I don't know, I feel like plus size girls, y'all be eating them up. So I don't know. I just really think that your beauty has nothing to do with your size, but that is just me personally. Then we find out a little bit more about her, like she was adopted, her dad recently died, her adopted sisters are skinny and she's always been bigger. So she's dealing with a lot of emotional baggage. And while I do not think catfishing is the solution to any of her problems, I think it's only giving her more problems. I can definitely understand how she ended up in this whole situation. Ashley then says that she feels like Mike is her best friend, her soulmate, and he has helped her through everything. Remember that she said that. Remember for later on. Okay, just keep it locked in your brain here. She then says that she is physically attracted to Mike, but then she claims, remember this also, she claims that she doesn't care what he looks like. He only sent her pictures of what he apparently looks like about a year ago. She shows Neve and Max the pictures. They take one look at them and they're like, be so fucking for real, Miss Squirrel. Be so fucking for real.
Oh my God. Is that the same person?
He's also a catfish. Neve then clocks it and says what I said earlier, that it looks like they're dealing with a double catfish situation. Ashley says that she is ready to move on with her life and she wants Mike to be a part of that, but if he's not willing to meet, she's going to move on without him, which is like, so why did you write into the show?
What's happening?
But Neve and Max then get in the car and they discuss how absolutely wild it is that Ashley never questioned Mike about anything of his story due to her own guilt. Which I'm like, if I know I'm lying, I'm probably just going to assume the other person is lying, but that's probably just the Scorpio in me. But like, I'm going to want to get to the bottom of everything. She's just like, oh, I'm the one who's lying, so he's telling the truth about everything.
Be fucking for real.
That don't make no damn sense. But Neve then tries to say that there's a huge difference between photoshopping your own pictures and stealing someone else's pictures, and while I understand what he's saying, I don't agree. In fact, I strongly disagree. I think that both are catfishing. You could paint it whichever way you want. One is sending heavily edited pictures to the point where you look like somebody else, and one is taking someone else's pictures. So at the end of the day, you're both giving the impression that you look like somebody else, that you are physically somebody else. So it's one and the same.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
So Neve and Max then get to investigating. They, of course, start by reverse image searching the 3 pictures that Ashley has of Mike, and they get no hits, which is not very shocking, to be honest. So they go to Facebook to see if they can find him, but they can't find anything which matches what Ashley said, because Ashley said he doesn't have social media like that. But they then decide to run the phone number, and they see that it's linked to someone named Gina. And the boys remember that Mike claims to have a sister named Gina. And she also lives at the same New Jersey address as Mike. So they decide to try and find Gina's Facebook page, and they reach out to her, basically just asking her to give them a call. They then decide to run Mike's email, and I'm going to be so honest with you, I did not realize that this was a thing you could do.
Question mark.
Like, I definitely should have realized it by now, but I didn't know that you could do this. That's kind of scary. Don't go doing that to anybody, y'all.
Lord have mercy.
So they found a match for the email, and it comes back with some weird ass pictures, and Max perfectly sums up our thoughts.
Wait a second. What the is that? He looks like a demon.
Like, that's kind of scary. If I saw that, I don't want to meet you anymore. Cancel the episode.
Fuck me. I don't know if I can deal with this one.
They then get a phone call from Gina. Neve gives her a quick rundown of the situation, and he asks if he can list off some of the things that he knows about Mike so then Gina can confirm if these things are true about her brother. Gina clams up, and she basically just says that her brother is a really private guy, so she doesn't want to put him on blast. It's too late for that. Catfish is involved. He's going to be put on blast whether you do it or someone else does it, so just tell us. Gina, though, confirms that she knows who Ashley is, so I guess that's a good sign. Neve then asks if her brother is someone who is in incredible Abercrombie model shape. And this honestly gave me flashbacks because personally I was never into the whole Abercrombie model look, but I grew up in the suburbs of Winnipeg, so I definitely remember all the white girls fawning over these basic looking boys. But Gina again does not answer the question.
I don't really know if I should talk to you about that.
She's really pissing me off right now. She says that it's something that Mike should talk to them about.
Go girl, give us nothing.
Gina then agrees to tell Mike to give them a call and they get off the phone, but like that whole conversation was just weird as fuck. Neve then also adds on and he says that without saying it, Gina just kind of admitted that her brother is a catfish. As they're heading to Ashley's to give her an update on their research, I guess kind of sort of, because they didn't really find that much, they get a call from the one and only Mike. Neve fills him in briefly. He doesn't tell him too much, doesn't give him too much detail, because they don't want to give everything away now. But Neve then just comes out with it, and he says that he thinks Mike is a catfish.
We're not convinced that you're that guy in those pictures.
And it's like, why would you lead with that? If you're trying to warm him up, you're trying to butter him up, why would you lead with that?
Make it make sense.
Quickly.
Mike then says that Ashley's a smart girl.
And I think it's kind of obvious at this point that that's not me.
Obvious to who?
What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
Max then shakes his head like, hell no, it's not. So then Neve backs up Max's head shake and backs up what we're thinking right now by saying that it's dangerous for Mike to just feel that way. And then he says that Ashley believes the guy in the pictures is you. I feel like it's always a bad idea to just assume someone knows or understands something in any context. Like, you should just always explicitly flat out tell them. But it's especially dangerous for a relationship, especially dangerous for an online relationship. Neve then says that it's time for them to meet, and Mike gives them the runaround again about how he's a private guy and he would prefer to do this on his own and blah, 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 blah. And I just feel like you should already know if MTV is contacting you. It's safe to say that you took too long to do it on your own, and it's gonna happen. Like, just let it happen. Don't fight it. Just agree to meet up instead of wasting our time like this. He then says that he needs time to think about it, so they get off the phone. What do you need to think about? Do you like Ashley? Do you not like Ashley? Do you want to meet Ashley? Do you not want to meet Ashley? It's quite simple. So they get to Ashley's, and she is very clearly nervous. But Neve wastes no time. He gets right into the conversation that they just had with Mike, specifically about the pictures, specifically about how Mike is a catfish, and Ashley seems upset, And she says that this is because she thought she was the only one who was lying.
Thought I was the only one lying.
And again, like I said before, if I'm in this situation and I'm lying, I'm going to assume that you're lying too. Is that just not, I don't know, is that not the way you would go about it? I just feel like that makes the most sense. Like, if I know I'm lying, why am I going to assume that someone else is being honest?
Let me ask the audience.
Am I just jaded? So they then get into the rest of their research, and they show her their profile picture of who they think the guy is, like the thing that they found in the email search. And they just tell her that they think it's weird, like the picture and everything.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is not an ideal way to introduce the girl into who she has potentially been talking to for the last 7 years. Ashley then says, and remember this, she then says that she doesn't care if that's his body. Like, he's obviously a bigger guy. I like a little juicy man myself, so that would not be a problem. But she just wants to know what he looks like, and then she starts to cry. And
Lord have mercy.
usually I don't care when people cry, but her tears are just a sign to me that she is not emotionally prepared to handle this whole situation, and she should have gone to therapy instead of going on Catfish. That's just my opinion. She said she hopes that he's the same person, but then she acknowledges what we are all thinking.
And I can't get mad if he was sending me fake pictures because, you know, I was altering mine.
For once, you're really hearing yourself. You're really understanding what's going on here. But also, sidebar, throughout the episode so far, she keeps repeating that they've been talking for 7 years and 7.5 years. Yet, no one has mentioned Mike's age.
You don't find that suspicious?
They better be the same age, otherwise this is very creepy. So Ashley says that she is ready to meet Mike, and if she has to wait any longer, she's willing to just let him go, which is like, you probably should have just let him go instead of coming on the show, but we move. Neve goes outside to give Mike a call. Neve tells Mike that Ashley knows that he's a catfish, and while she's still confused about the whole situation, she absolutely still wants to meet. Mike continues to claim that he is a private person, and so he feels sketchy about meeting her on camera, which we don't care. Like, MTV's involved already, Catfish is involved already. Get over it. Mike then says that he cannot throw the opportunity away, which I feel like was a very weird way to phrase it, but I understand what he's saying. I get it. So he and Neve agree that them finally meeting could be the start of something amazing.
I know something you don't.
Then they hop off the call and the trio heads to New Jersey. Ashley is very nervous basically the whole time, so Neve and Max go out of their way to make this as positive of an experience as they can for her, which I thought was just so kind. Like, they take her into New York City to do some sightseeing, then they take her out to a club. And it's just clear that they're trying to make sure she has so much fun, even if this doesn't end up going her way. So the next day, they finally pull up to Mike's house. Ashley is very clearly, again, really nervous. Neve kind of hangs back with Ashley, which is like, oh my god, what's going on here? Neve didn't want to go do his police knock on the door. He hangs back, and he's just really comforting Ashley.
There's nothing to worry about. Deep breath. Remember, he's just as nervous as you are.
While Max doesn't do the iconic police knock we have known to grow and love, he simply just rings the doorbell, which is so boring, but that's what he does. So Mike then steps outside and gives Ashley a big hug. And he, of course, looks nothing like his pictures, but Ashley also looks nothing like her pictures. So it feels like a wash. But they both seem really nervous, but they seem really excited to see each other, which I thought was so cute. Like, yeah, maybe this could be something good.
You stupid.
Mike then apologizes for catfishing Ashley, and he makes it clear that he did it for the exact same reasons that Ashley did it, right? Like being insecure.
And I wasn't comfortable with myself. I just didn't know if you would accept me.
Worried about appearance, worried about being judged, all of those things. Mike then says that Ashley doesn't look a whole lot different than he thought she would, and she seems relieved.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Which I'm like, okay. I think he just likes her and he doesn't care what she looks like genuinely doesn't care what she looks like, because she does look quite different from the picture she originally sent him. But Ashley then fesses up to her own catfishing, and Mike does not seem bothered by it at all, which is kind of not really surprising, but I don't know. So I really, at this point, I was feeling optimistic, which is rare for me when watching Catfish, but I was really feeling optimistic.
Damn.
So they head inside, and Mike says that he loves Ashley in every way, which I'm like, he's so in love with her. Like, he really is truly in love with her. He says that he wants to settle down with her, and he claims that he's never felt that way about anyone before. And then Ashley, instead of kind of reciprocating the sweet and romantic remarks. She just starts talking about her insecurities.
Like my dad's funeral. I didn't even want to go to my dad's funeral because I look like crap compared to my sisters.
Which again, this just confirms to me that she needed therapy. She needed an extensive dose of self-love. She did not need to come on Catfish. And to counteract everything negative she just said about herself, Mike says that she's beautiful.
I love your personality and everything about you, and I'm always going to think you're a beautiful girl regardless of all that.
He wants to see where things go with her, and he wants her to meet his family and his friends and just become like an integral part of his in real life. I could have phrased that better, but you get what I mean. But this level of love and willingness to commit clearly makes Ashley uncomfortable because she just finished talking about her insecurities and how she doesn't like to be around people because of her insecurities. And I don't know, but something else is going on here. So Max peeps this like right away. And he's like, Ashley, girl, let's go outside. Let's talk.
You can see it in my face.
Yep, I sure can. So just tell me.
As soon as they get outside, the first thing Miss Ashley does is admit that she is disappointed by who Mike turned out to be.
Girl. This girl is delusional.
This to me is insane and so hypocritical because you also lied about what he looked like. You don't look like the pictures that you sent him, but you're mad that he doesn't look like the pictures that he sent you.
Everybody's so creative.
She says she doesn't feel like they have the same connection and now she just doesn't know what to do. And I just need her to be so for real. Like, be so for real. You thought you were getting a gym rat. You're upset that that's not what you got. Because you claimed you loved him for his personality, you didn't care what he looked like, and now you see what he looks like, and you're like, I'm not attracted to him. So what he looked like did matter. Why did you lie? It's crazy for you to be like, yeah, looks really matter. Meanwhile, the whole time, you were also catfishing and lying.
It's a no for me, dog.
Meanwhile, Mike is inside, just talking about how Ashley is everything he could have ever wanted.
I think she's a beautiful girl, exactly like physically what I'm attracted to.
And how he is just so happy. And this is the complete polar opposite of Ashley's reaction, which is crazy. So Max and Ashley then decide that it's time to go back inside and politely head out because she doesn't want to be there. Then on the car ride back to the hotel, Ashley says that
I don't know. I don't want to sound shallow.
which if you say that before you say something, you're about to sound shallow, just for the record. But she is simply just not attracted to bigger guys.
Wait.
Oh, Lord.
Like I said before, I like my men beefy. So I don't know. I feel like she's really tripping right now. But then she admits
But it sounds contradicting because I'm not small.
What's not clicking?
this is insane. It's the self-awareness to know that you have internalized fat phobia. You can hear, my ears here, you could hear the internalized fat phobia, but you're not doing anything to correct it. You're just gonna be that way. That's crazy. And this is not to say that she has to be attracted to big men. That you're allowed to not be attracted to big men. But this specific situation is just so hypocritical to me. I think it's hypocritical, and I think she's in the wrong. That's my opinion.
That's my opinion!
Then the next day, Neve and Max head over to Ashley's hotel room. Neve says that yesterday she shut down so quickly and she did not even give Mike a chance. But then she says that she shut down because she didn't feel any sort of attraction or connection. I don't know. I feel like I understand what she's saying, like that initial attraction, but I also think that if you are truly in love with somebody, like romantically, and say you're meeting them after 7 years of online dating, you can grow to love what they look like. It's just so weird for me that she just shuts it down immediately. She's like, he's big, I don't want that. I don't want that man. Give him back to someone else. But then Ashley tries to make it look like she's not being shallow and fatphobic and self-centered and mean by saying that
I don't know him for him.
And Neve is like, pause.
But you didn't know him for him before he walked out.
Like, be real. If you don't want him, just say you don't want him, but don't try and make it something that it's not. She then comes out with the absolute truth finally. She then says that Mike's catfish picture was the complete opposite of what Mike actually looks like.
And it's just like, what am I supposed to think?
Be fucking for real.
Girl, are we forgetting that you did the exact same thing? We're just gonna act like you didn't. But somehow it's okay when she did it, and she was expecting Mike to fully accept her, But when he does it, it's a problem and she doesn't have to be with it.
That's weird.
Neve then checks her in the most loving way and tries to put her in her place and make it clear that this whole situation has very little to do with Mike.
And a lot to do with you.
And I couldn't agree more. Because Ashley has internalized her whole life that fat people like herself are not deserving of love. They're not worthy of love. So now she is projecting that onto Mike and herself. It's just giving deeply rooted self-hatred, and it's something that she really needs to work through before she had ever considered dating, in my opinion. Dating someone who hates themselves is never easy, and I feel like it can often put partners at odds unnecessarily, because then the person who hates themselves is always fighting with the person who loves them because they hate themselves, and it's like there's no peace in the relationship. And I need peace in my relationship, not problems. If there's problems, I want to be the one to bring them. Max then says that Ashley is never going to accept someone loving her
until you actually love yourself. You just won't respect them. You won't believe them.
And both Neve and Max this episode were truly giving her the harsh truths that she needed to hear, but in the most loving, the most respectful, the most kind way, and I really, really do respect them a lot for this. Neve and Max then give Ashley a little bit more encouragement before heading back to Mike's, where she has to finally be honest. So Neve and Max then drop Ashley back at Mike's to talk alone, and they drop her off at the door as if they are dropping off their kid on a first play date, and I just thought that was funny. It has nothing to do with anything. I just had to point that out. So Mike and Ashley sit down and get to talking, and the first thing Ashley says is that she doesn't think she can handle a relationship because she needs to love herself, and
oh Lord.
Yes, this is true, but also she's still not being 100% honest with him, because she never said those words herself throughout this episode. She straight up said she wasn't attracted to him. She just got these words from what Neve and Max just told her. Mike then says that he cannot wait around for her, and Ashley's like, I don't want you to.
Well, I'm not asking you to.
It's not funny. It's not funny, but it is kind of funny. She then just continues to pile it on. She says that once they're face to face, there's supposed to be a connection and attraction, but she just doesn't have that. And Ashley then says, like, just to put the icing on the cake, to close the book completely, she says that this will be the last time they will ever see each other.
Good God, get a grip, girl.
Because she doesn't want to pretend something is there when it's not. And it's like, finally she's being honest, and I respect her for it. I think she could have used a little bit more tact, but she was honest. So then they head outside, and Ashley sobs as she gets into the car with Max, while Neve goes inside to talk to Mike. Mike says that it's best to just let their relationship go and do what she needs to do. Then Mike goes back outside, he and Ashley say their final goodbye, and the trio head out. In our 1 month follow-up, Ashley says that she is doing a lot better. She's going out a lot more, which is a huge accomplishment, to be completely honest, because she wasn't doing that a lot before, which is how she ended up in this situation in the first place. She says that she has spoken to Mike, and she is actually going to New Jersey to hang out with him and see what happens, and Mike is footing the bill for the trip. We love a man who spends his bread. Preparing myself for all the gold digger comments. Mike then says that he is super excited to see Ashley without the cameras, and I just need to know what beef this man has with the cameras. What did the cameras do to you, sir? He also says that he is way more confident now, so we ended the episode on quite a high note. So this episode has been taken off of streaming platforms over the years numerous times. You could go online anywhere and look that up for yourself if you don't believe me. And while no official statements have ever been made about it, I think it's safe to assume that this was done out of respect for both Mike and Ashley's families, as both Mike and Ashley have since passed away. Just a month after the episode aired, Mike passed away due to a pulmonary embolism, and 3 years after that, Ashley passed away due to an alleged drug overdose. In a Catfish follow-up that they did, Ashley had talked about her struggles with addiction, and at that time she was in a recovery program. She was working on her sobriety, but unfortunately she did end up passing away. I hope that they are both resting in peace, and I hope that this experience brought them some sort of joy prior to their deaths, and I hope it helped them learn a lot about themselves. But I want to thank you so much for watching this video. It feels weird and almost icky to ask you to do anything with the note that we just ended on. So do the YouTube things if you want to. If you don't, that's cool, but I will see you in the next video.